Welcome to episode 72 of the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. My name is Jackman Oaks.
And I'm Brian Hines. And with us, as always, is the disembodied
Voice?
of our producer, Tiny Ryan.
I'm glad I picked up on that just in the nick of time, so it wasn't too awkward.
Yes.
That's Paul Bearer.
Oh,
yeah. And Chris, and Halloween time is over.
Oh, well, I don't know. Hi, folks.
That's Tiny Brian.
I'm Tiny Brian.
It still is, yes.
Today we will be getting into all the action from OVW Rise 1317. That happened originally on November
2nd.
No?
9th.
9th. Yeah.
I think that's what it says in the notes.
No, it couldn't have been the 9th because it would have had to have been the 7th. Because the 9th would have been the night of Bourbon Brawl.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
off to a flying start here, folks.
Yes. It's been a busier than usual week, and most weeks are pretty busy, but this one was even busier because we had the first unofficial event.
Yeah. Well, it was an event that our official job sponsored, officially.
Yes.
But we were there unofficially.
Okay, this is going to get complicated. Folks, the Bourbon Brawl was over the weekend.
Right. It was
Yes.
Saturday, September 9th.
Saturday night, Bourbon County High School. What a blast.
Really, really a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did, I got overwhelmed. Being back in high school is like weird being around like teenagers. And
I
like
think
watching
you
them.
actually ended up in detention somehow.
I did. Well, that was part for the course in high school. Yeah, made a lot of mistakes. Anyway, I did get a lot of anxiety being around the mini hormones. It was weird. And watching them do teenagery things, it made me very anxious.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoyed it. I had a blast all night. The wrestling kept me entertained.
The wrestling was top notch.
Yeah, and it kept me away from my being reminded of my teenage anxieties.
So I guess the first thing we should say is that the night opened with Doug Basham, who was hosting the show.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing he did was say our names.
As he has been doing recently.
In
Al's absence.
Yeah. But yeah, he was there. He was actually there and not just kind of behind the scenes running the show. He comes to the ring, talks to the crowd. Everybody reacts like they react to Doug.
Mm-hmm. So I was not in the first time. I was not around. I was out in the lobby. I think I was talking to one of our coworkers, and you came running out.
Yeah.
And are like, "Did you hear that?" And I was like, "No, because I had no context for what it was.
Yeah,
I had no idea that
you had no idea.
No, and the furthest thing away from what we expected for sure.
Fortunately, I was there with a camera, and I did get a video of it.
Yeah.
And the second time when he came back later and had even more to say.
Yeah, it was real. That was really classy, Doug. That was really, really classy, and we really appreciate it.
So
yes.
he challenged us to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. And if we do, he said a couple things that if we bring them back to Bourbon County High School for another Bourbon Brawl, some things will happen. First of all, they will put every championship belt on the line at the event.
Ooh.
Every single championship in OVW.
I want to see Shannon the Dude defend that radio championship. Secondly, and perhaps even more,
that might be the first event of the night and the main event is Shannon wrestling 2 times. That's how bad we want to see him defend that damn thing around here.
No kidding.
Amen to that.
And the second thing Doug offered is that we could pick anybody in the OVW locker room, and they would face the machine, Doug Basham.
Doug Basham, that's right.
So, OVW
WWE
Nation,
legend, Doug Basham.
Yes. Former tag team champion,
Doug Basham.
Leader
Leather
of the
Daddy
Revolution.
Doug.
Yeah,
Leather Daddy Doug.
As he most recently known by some kind of weird thing.
By most of the audience, to be fair.
By most of the audience,
By the way, he was the one who said it was the unofficial event.
He did.
Yeah, I don't know whether. I just want to make sure that everybody caught that.
I did not catch that. That's dope.
That was the first thing out of his mouth. They announced that they were going to do the national anthem. Everybody stood.
And then,
the national anthem
and then kept
faced the flag.
standing.
Yeah, and everybody stood there until it got awkward, and we were waiting for them to play the national anthem, and it turned out to be
the Revolution theme. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how you knew it was the unofficial show, is they were having sound problems just like we do around here.
Okay. So yeah, we got to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. So if you haven't yet, youtube.com/@OVW podcast. It's that simple. Go find it. Go subscribe.
As of the time of this recording, I looked right before we came to the studio. We were at 136, which means we are 13.6% away. That's how far we are in our goal.
So
And we only have till Christmas.
We only have till Christmas. So all I want for Christmas is for you to subscribe to the OVW Podcast YouTube channel.
I want all of the children of all the world to join hands
and sing about Coca-Cola.
and sing for world peace.
I thought you were going to launch into that Steve Martin.
That's how it starts.
Yeah,
then it keeps getting pushed lower and lower down his list of things
Yeah.
he wants for Christmas.
Yeah, after like the 13th or 14th thing where he gets like revenge on all of his enemies.
Yeah. Offshore bank account.
The rest of it that I won't bother to get into on mic.
One of the great like SNL skits, Christmas time SNL skits.
Yes.
And when Christmas time SNL skits, when they're good, are really
Sublime.
good. Yeah. One of the I think one of the all-time great SNL skits is the broken glass toy salesman. That's just like one of the all-time great ones.
Bag of glass.
Almost as good as that photo bomb that Doug had on that picture that you posted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Doug was feeling his oats. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that was like a lot of people don't have the knack to photobomb. That was like,
and it's just
that was
so
a textbook
perfect.
photobomb. Yeah,
Just and given the little R's up.
it was the restraint that made it so good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the R stands for.
It's restraint.
Yeah. I got that text in our group text, and somebody said something about him photobombing. I had to go back and look like 3 times before I actually found him in that photo.
He is a little Where's Waldo-esque.
Yeah.
But once you see him, you will not be able to unsee him.
Well done, Leather Daddy Doug.
Indeed.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming out. Thanks for everybody who came.
Thanks
to
for
Bourbon
everybody
Brawl.
from OVW who put in the time and the work to give the people of Bourbon County High School that kind of night out.
Anything wrestling-wise you guys got as a highlight from the show?
I would like to, maybe if this is a good time to bring it up, I don't think it is, but I'll go ahead and ask you a question that I was planning on posing to later in the show, both of you guys actually. Have the Blockbusters won you over yet?
So the Blockbusters, Leather Daddy escorted them out on Saturday, and he actually had one of those stupid grinding cameras.
That was great.
Instead of just pantomiming it, they found a prop.
That was cool.
I don't know where you would even come up with that, but
yeah, and somehow the stupid prop burned out the last of my anger, I think. And they're also good.
They're really really
Yeah.
They are
good.
very
They
good.
are very good. That was a hell of a match.
It was the first time that, and I've spoken about this concept before in the past of like the house show performance versus the on-camera performance.
Yes.
And I think that I can speak for me at least. Seeing the Blockbusters on Saturday night made the whole thing. It made it make sense to me.
It tied
Their
the
angle.
Yeah, it tied
the room together. Yeah.
tied the room together.
Okay, good.
We got to see. What did you have a moment that impressed you, Brian? Stood out?
I mean, the whole thing was kind of surreal
Sure.
because it was our first event, and going into it, it's like, is this really happening? I guess it is. We're all here.
I mean, we all kind of stood there as they were putting the ring together. And
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
I'm not supposed to be seeing this.
I've got some footage of stuff like that I did on time delay, so it's sped up, and I don't know whether I'll be able to get that out there or if that's classified because we were there unofficially and all that. But it was an interesting night. I mean, you and I ended up covered in whipped cream, Chris Runyon style, at the hands of Omar Amir and Luscious Lawrence. So I mean, there was that, but there was no point in the night where it was just like Nah. This one's, I can go out and do other stuff. I don't really have to pay attention to this one. But the De Niro match.
I was going to bring up De Niro, because we saw Tony and Jay both wrestled.
Yeah,
in this
they did
event.
a little double service that evening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Jay, we love Jay De Niro around here, and we were trying to show our love, and we were chanting for Jay. Literally looked at us and told us to shut up. So
He didn't tell us. He yelled it.
he'd had to.
Now you guys know how I feel whenever Will Austin flicked me off.
It's like,
He
we
said,
love
"Tell you how."
and
By the way.
I'm sure he did.
So yeah, it was a great night. We'll probably have some videos and things coming out from it. Keep an eye out for those. Now, if somebody would want this kind of an event for their own selves, Brian, they wanted to go see OVW in a live setting. Where might they be able to do that in the coming days and weeks?
Well, it sounds like that might be time for a tour update. Every Thursday, you can catch OVW Rise at historic Hot Point Davis Arena. What time do the doors open?
6:05 doors, 6:15 first match, 6:30 overdrive. Assuming
7 p.m.
everything
Rise.
goes well. Yeah, 7 p.m. Rise, of course. Bell time for Rise
Yes.
is at 7 p.m. But definitely the vibe that I get is 6:30 at the latest wrestling will start.
Yes.
So every Thursday you can catch it at Hot Point Davis Arena, except for the week of Thanksgiving, which brings us Thanksgiving Thunder, their annual tradition. That is also at Hot Point Davis Arena.
That's their return to Tuesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's a good one. Seasons Beatings, OVW Seasons Beatings at the Country Boy Brewing Tap Room in Georgetown, Kentucky. That is December 13th. I'm looking forward to that one. And OVW Winter Warfare in New Kensington, Pennsylvania on January 25th, 2025. You can get tickets for all of these events at OVWTix. That's OVWTIX.com.
Yeah, I actually had people at Bourbon Brawl say, when's the next time? It's hard for me to get to Louisville. When's the next time, I
They're
can
gonna
see
be
them,
around.
see them in the central Kentucky area? And I said Georgetown, December 13th.
That's right.
So
Perfect little break from the Christmas shopping, getting into the holiday spirit. Get together with 200 or 300 of your favorite wrestling fans and watch your favorite wrestling promotion.
yeah. OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, since 1994. A love and a passion we all share.
A PS is staring at me. I think maybe he wants us to go to break.
Okay, are we doing Bluegrass Homefront ad, or are we doing a different ad? Oh, because
No, Bluegrass Homefront's not paying, so we're just...
I did think I had a Bluegrass Homefront story, but maybe we'll...
Well, if you've got one of those, we'll do a Bluegrass Homefront ad.
Okay,
Just
we can do both. This will be quick. My Bluegrass Homefront story...
So we'll be back right after this.
My Bluegrass Homefront story, Bluegrass Homefront, wherever you get your podcasts, is when we're talking to that high school journalist that was saddled with us for the evening. She was really great, really nice, very attentive. You could tell you'd be looking over with her. She'd be having a blast, taking a ton of pictures. Where we're kind of just talking about what we do and the OVW podcast and Ohio Valley Wrestling in general. And I'm in the middle of a sentence, and she goes, "Until you started talking, I assumed you were gay." And I said, "Thanks." She goes, "No, just your hair and the way you dress." And I was like, Thanks. Bluegrass Homefront, wherever you find your podcasts.
That was, that's now back to the OVW podcast.
Well, let that be a lesson to you then.
Yeah, teenagers haven't changed. Still no filters.
No.
So Doug is on vacation this week.
Yes, it appears as though the leather daddy is in the Bahamas.
That is, I think, what he was getting at.
What we were told.
Quick vacation for Doug to be in the Bahamas on Thursday and
back on Saturday.
He probably flew out,
private
Friday
jet,
morning.
PJ. Yeah, he's got the PJ. He's not worried about it.
For real.
He kind of gets on to inform the Ohio Valley Wrestling fans
via vertical video, by the way.
Kind of to inform the OVW fan base and the OVW locker room. There's somebody new in charge on Doug's behalf while he's out of town, and out walks Katie Gannon, someone that we had been talking about, wondering where she had been recently.
Yes.
And then when she comes back in a huge way.
She most definitely does.
Stacy Keebler way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that was, if you go back and actually watch this episode, because I was in the chat for this, you can actually find me before I realized it was Katie Gannon going, "Who's doing the Stacy Keibler?"
It just came
Yeah,
up on
there it
the
was.
chat right there. Yeah.
You want to know why you didn't recognize Katie in the Stacy Keibler gimmick? Because it's a different Katie.
It really is.
It's a very
different. Yeah, different attitude.
different presentation altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think also we're talking about people who are, transitioning into heel roles or have been baby faces for a long time in OVW and are transitioning into a heel role. Katie is like kind of born for this heel role. She's like kind of born for this space.
After a year, I didn't realize that she did a pretty good job in the ring on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Considering I think she had said 15 words and most of them were
Yeah.
Freya's wedding.
Before this past, this episode, that was the only time I really ever remember her saying anything. And, I remember that she spoke, but I didn't really remember anything that she said. This was like commanding the room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A set piece promo, as I like to call it.
And it went on until her former tag team partner and co-valet,
Crystal
White.
Crystal.
Her music hits, and she appears at the top of the ramp and does point out that apparently Miss Gannon, for all the power she wields, still doesn't have the power to come down the ramp in heels on her own.
Yeah, I noticed that too when she said that. That was, yeah.
Katie Gannon did walk like a little baby deer that first time we saw her.
She really
Yeah.
did.
But very different.
Crystal wasn't even on the ramp. She was over by the snack bar that time.
Right.
So, she's one to talk.
Crystal and KT.
Yes.
I think it is kind of it was a smart dig from Crystal. It was a smart dig from Crystal. But back to what I was saying, it didn't matter if maybe she was a little wobbly walking down the ramp. Once she was in the ring, she commanded it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Katie then sets a match against J-Rod and Crystal, right?
Which there wasn't even a referee in the ring.
Not at first.
Not at first. The damage was done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the ref just showed up, counted, and left. There was no. Yeah, I think they came into the ring on their belly to hit the count, and then was just out.
I think that you have that timing about correct there.
Yeah.
I guess no surprise, really. Like, you got to keep J-Rod looking huge, but I don't know if J-Rod looks as dominant when she's beating up her would-be opponent before the match. I think it makes her look like a badass. I don't know if it makes her look like a super dominant in-ring wrestler.
A dominant champion.
Right.
No, that's just standard heel operating
Exactly.
procedure.
That's just standard heel stuff.
Yeah.
Heels doing heely things.
Although it did go from OVW to kind of like, Springer during this part with them going back and forth at each other. And then she's finally, she sets the match, and that pretty well takes the steam out of that.
That's a good call. I think there was kind of a Jerry Springer vibe this whole episode.
Yeah.
I could see that. You guys know I love Springer.
Yeah, that's right.
We have the Springer
We
album.
literally
for some
have the
reason.
Jerry Springer album right there.
I have the Jerry Springer Too Hot for TV on VHS that I got at Pops because it was $1.
Oh, that's a good dollar. That's a
Now-
dollar well spent.
You can find all kinds of crazy stuff at Pops resale. I love that place.
All right. So, yeah, that was that first
Sponsor
match.
us,
J-Rod,
Pops.
yeah, sponsor us, Pops. J-Rod takes the win in the very first match, I guess you do have to call it.
The bell
match.
rang.
The bell rang, and then it rang again.
Yeah.
So Tony Evans arrives to gaslight Cal Hero and the entire OVW
No,
population.
he gaslights
Jay De Niro.
Jay De Niro.
There you
I'm
go.
terrible with names tonight.
He
I see that.
he gaslights everyone and anyone really. In the that's we're talking about classic heel maneuvers.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
denying the obvious, denying what everyone knows to be true is a old school heel maneuver.
Yeah,
And-
he's
and-
like, I'm sorry you couldn't get it done.
And that backstage segment, we get ever so close to hearing Jay De Niro's thoughts about it. And no, not this time.
What do you think Jay De Niro's first words are? Data?
What?
What do you think Jay De Niro's first words on screen are going to be?
Shut up.
Shut up. Okay, I like it. 'Cause
Wait. I'm talking about the bourbon roll. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know.
I assume it will be either hush or shut up.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah, no, you hush seems to be would have the yeah.
But it seems like, for what it's worth, those two guys are still very much on the same page. Tony Evans and Jay De Niro.
Yeah, this week.
Yeah, Tony must be paying well because, you have to buy that loyalty with Jay De Niro.
Yeah.
But Cal ends up coming and interrupting.
Yeah, the camera literally swings
right
to the
around
hallway,
the corner.
and we see, we get our first look that Cal and Tony Gunn have apparently not stopped fighting yet.
No, these backstage things have been being shot really, really well recently.
Yeah, definite upgrade.
Yeah.
In that I'm not sure what's going on, but there's a lot being done, and it's being done pretty well.
Well, I mean, even down to that street fight, which was very ambitious. It's an unfortunate situation, but things are just getting more and more ambitious on screen at OVW.
And you love to see it.
I do. Yeah, I do.
So let's, shall we move on?
Sure, let's move on.
Brian, what was our next match?
The second match of the night, we had Brandon Beretta making his Rise debut.
No nonsense, right?
No nonsense.
Is it no nonsense or all business?
It's all business.
All
Brandon
business,
Beretta.
Brandon Beretta.
All business.
But also no nonsense.
But as a result, equally no nonsense, Brandon Beretta, who was also at the Bourbon Brawl, by the way, versus OVW Rush champion Star Rider, accompanied to the ring by Shannon the Dude.
Of course.
Shannon's all over this episode.
Yeah.
For someone who's really not been much of a force in OVW over, the weeks before, he's suddenly everywhere.
Well, Shannon lives a whole big life, I've been led to believe. And also, he knows from a kayfabe perspective, like when the bread's getting buttered.
Yeah, he does know. He does know when there's money.
He knows when to show up.
Yeah, he does.
No, I really enjoyed the character of Shannon the Dude because he enjoys it, because he enjoys doing it.
And Star Rider, what do we think of Star Rider and Brandon here in this bout?
I think that Star Rider is the smartest person for Brandon Beretta to be paired with on a bigger stage here. Because Star in this heel form is a really, really great seller, really, really, really effective at putting over guys that are a little more grounded and a little more strength-based than like Brandon Beretta.
Yeah, he most definitely is.
Mm-hmm. And I just love, I love when big dudes that stay low to the ground are like yanking, the Star Riders of the world out of the air for the match.
Yeah.
I think Brandon Beretta should be very happy with his debut here on Rise.
He should. I mean, he's a very solid wrestler. If you haven't been part of the Davis Arena crowd over the last 4 or 6 weeks, this would probably be the first time you've seen him, unless you're also watching Overdrive. This is the first time Rise viewers are getting to see him, and very solid. Great match. I mean, super strong, tough as they come. All business, no nonsense.
Mm-hmm. All business, no nonsense. Brandon Beretta. I love him.
Yeah,
I love him. No,
doesn't get the win here though.
No,
unfortunately,
Obviously not. Yeah, as these guys are kind of working through from the academy. We know that Brandon Beretta is a recent graduate. That's how you have to graduate to get on the show. That's how it goes. Keep pairing some of those dudes with the Star Riders of the world, because he's always going to make them look really, really, really well. He's always going to take care of them.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite parts about Bourbon Brawl this week.
What's that?
There were a lot of the OVW mainstays that have been there for a while, but there were also a lot of the newer folks that people haven't really gotten exposed to yet.
Right, even us don't have much exposure to these guys.
Did we see? Am I right that it was Showtime Shanklin and Justice Davis as
Correct.
a tag team?
Yes,
in one, and that was great.
They killed it.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with the progression on Justice Davis in particular.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a gimmick that has come a long way in a year.
I talked to both of them after the show. I can't wait to have either one of those guys on individually or back together as a group. Looking forward to it.
If that is something that they could potentially put on television, I think that Justice, much like we saw with TW3 and Donovan, can bring something out of Showtime.
Yeah, that's a good call. You're absolutely right.
And vice versa, because it's a symbiotic relationship.
Much like star player Prime and Boy Toy Troy.
Oh well, they're just
They were there,
symbiotic.
too.
They're
Yeah.
just symbiotic.
Yeah.
Like
They-
there's a difference between
something.
Like they just share
Yeah.
a brain.
there's a
Yeah.
difference between bringing the best out of each other and whatever those two boys have going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, those two
Like
boys.
some otherworldly kind of mental connection.
Exactly.
Some kind
Yes.
of connection.
Yes.
Master connection if you're from the low LBC in the 90s.
What does that mean?
It was the name of the video store we went to. It was like the good one.
I thought it might be some local slang.
What, the Master Connection?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
It was just the really cool video store that had all the Nintendo games and all that.
You guys just know I'm always so impressed by Buckeye culture. Like I'm always so curious about it.
But yet you're afraid to spend time there because you don't want to die in Ohio.
I do not.
How
but,
weird is that?
But like I think it's like maybe like a Baptist like asking their Catholic friends about stuff. Like, well, why do you guys do that up there? I don't understand why you guys do that. Up next, another non-title match here. Dysfunction. Brandon Espinoza and a returning Tom Coffey.
Yeah,
Back out with the OVW tag team, the Blockbusters. Tag team champions is Shannon the Dude.
that's right. So we were talking about Dysfunction, and I'm glad to see him. Glad to see him back. That offer of you send us video clips or whatever,
Yes,
that stands, man.
that stands.
Send them.
It is now the opinion of the podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling here, that Dysfunction is the greatest tag team in the division, and we are behind them 10,000%, and we want to do anything we can to help Dysfunction.
Yes, please do.
We may have joined. They always want people to join them.
Yeah, well, we joined. We joined.
may
It's
have
as
done
simple
that.
as that. It's as simple as that. We
Yeah,
joined.
so we're hanging out and doing this podcast like we do on Sundays, Mondays, or Tuesdays, and every Wednesday when we're official. But in the middle of all that, just magically, boom, we're part of Dysfunction.
Yeah, I love it. I
That
love
is
being-
the most dysfunctional way I think that you could join a tag team or a faction or a cult or whatever, and par for the course, man.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
we're
If
in-
they don't
I'm in it.
listen, they won't even know we've joined them.
Yeah,
That's true. That's why they should subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, at youtube.com/@OVW podcast.
You guys would be surprised who listens.
Yeah.
We say all of this to say we love Dysfunction.
Yes.
We love Dysfunction.
I find them very entertaining.
I actually, though, after this weekend Bourbon Brawl, I just love the Blockbusters a little bit more. I know. I'm still in Dysfunction. But the Blockbusters, as we're getting to see more and more of them, not whether it be here or whether it be live, they're putting it all together. And I think that as much as we were questioning the choice of like who are these guys to even be the tag team champions,
Now we get it.
out of nowhere, putting them in matches with Dysfunction, allowing them to have great matches with the likes of crowd favorites like Dysfunction. I think I'm coming around on them. But Dysfunction, unfortunately,
Counts the lights.
and I also still haven't seen them get bonked in the head. This was really when I started to like Dysfunction, is when I was like, I want to see those two guys just like get like hit in the head.
Really?
Yeah, I just think it would be really funny. I think that their heads would look really funny bounced off of each other.
Okay. Sure.
So,
Dysfunction. We always want to see you win,
yes.
but during the course of a match, if there's any way we could get your opponents to bonk your heads together,
Bonk your heads together.
like Andre the Giant used to back in the day,
Three
that would,
Stooges style.
That would really make my my boy Jackman's dream come true.
It
So
really would.
please.
It really would.
And also subscribing to our YouTube channel. would be-
Editor's note: we do not, CTE is bad.
Oh no, do it safe, of course.
well, yes. I mean, we're not talking
I don't want to
80s.
see. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I just want to see their heads bonk on each other.
Yeah.
And we hear a wow.
Yes. There needs to be like some silly sound effect.
Yeah. No. Exactly. See, I'm talking you guys into it now.
Yeah. Yeah. And here we are. We're even more dysfunctional than we were 5 minutes ago when we started this discussion.
So
So the Blockbusters bust that ass and take the win.
obviously, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Unfortunately, as we headed into that match,
No.
bout 4 of the evening: Tony Evans versus the future Will Austin. I'm sorry, bigger than your boyfriend, prettier than your girlfriend, superior Tony Evans.
Yeah, you better get that right.
I learned on Monday
we will have a little-
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did
Sam.
manage to get a few minutes with Tony before the Bourbon Brawl. That'll be out in the feed later this week. And
Well, you did.
it was,
I'm glad it wasn't me.
Just a few minutes, really.
Yeah.
well, yeah, well, you'll see. Just watch. You guys will see. So what's next, guys? We're talking
Tony Evans and Will
Austin.
Yeah. Duh. Hey, I don't know if you know this, but this is the OVW podcast. This is my co-host Jacqueline Oakes, and
hey,
this
guys.
is Brian Hines.
Oh, wait, I'm in that.
Yeah. Funny how that works.
Can we, in retrospect, name a time that Tony Evans has not walked out to the ring with a microphone in his hand? That is my first question.
No.
In
Not in the
the
year.
amount of time we've been doing this.
No. I can't think
No.
of one.
I've never heard more than the first 8 seconds or so of his theme.
This is true. Yeah. No, that one gets cut off pretty quick. So I say that to say we know how the beginning of this match started.
It's hush.
Yeah, the
Hush.
they always do.
Let
Y'all
a star in the-
suck. Let a star in this ring. Shut the F up. I'm going to be the champion. Did you think it was a weird pairing based on where Tony Evans and Will Austin right now as characters to have them kind of, it looks like, at the beginnings of a feud?
No.
I just feel like it wasn't that long ago that Will turned heel. Will turned heel. And everybody's babyface against Tony Evans.
I mean, Will is not even really a heel. He's so much of a heel. He's
He's a loose cannon.
Yeah, he is. I mean, not even the heels like him.
He doesn't have a lot of acquaintances, you're right. Doesn't have a lot of backup.
He's like Vegeta, but worse, if I may make a Dragon Ball Z reference.
Impressive that you basically got that one. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. We're looking at Namek era Vegeta here.
I don't know what you just said, little kid, but I believe you.
I have a feeling Will Austin knows what I just said.
Yeah. What a great match, though.
It was.
Well, I mean, these are two of your most reliable guys. That's why they're on the show all the time, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna schedule these two guys in a match and get anything less than, exactly what you asked for, right?
I didn't feel like this was a weird pairing at all because, I mean, they were both in the Fatal 4-Way last week.
And
so.
that's theoretically what this is a follow-on from.
Right. This is a continuation from that one particular event, so it just seemed like a natural thing to me based on the pay-per-view.
Now-
I didn't think twice about it.
Now that I don't disagree with. What I ask would be weird is if this is the beginning of a feud.
That would be a horse of a different color. I don't know how I feel about that.
No, from the fallout of the 4-way, definitely. But like if we're doing this until the next pay-per-view, who's who, what's what? Or is this really the most likely case, I think? Just we're figuring out how to get to Jade and Arrow.
Yeah, that's it. And I want to see more Jade and Nero.
I think we all do. I mean, we waxed poetically about him not 25 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But I think every time I think it's time, I no longer think it's time.
When it's time, you'll know it's time.
Yeah, I just wonder when the best moment is really to pull the pin out of this grenade and throw the damn thing.
Well,
Yeah.
The powers that be at OVW are old enough to remember. Maybe you will, Brian, because I can't remember the brand name, but it was a wine. And the thing they would say,
Parmesan.
yeah.
We will sell no wine before it's time. I know
Yes.
exactly what you're talking about.
So we are not going to pop the cork on the Jay De Niro at Tony Evans feud until it's time.
Until it's time. I like that. In wrestling sometimes that's the simplest way to put it, is when it's time, it's time.
I feel like, for me, it can't get here soon enough, but realistically, I feel like it's going to be sooner than later because I know I'm not the only one who wants to see babyface Jay De Niro.
Well, and every time... I think I'm just reinforcing what you guys are about to say and what you guys have already said in a different way. When it's time, it's effing time. That's just it. They decide when it's time. We don't. And every time in the past, we've said, "Oh, they should do this. They should do that." When they finally did it or didn't do the thing, when progression in the storyline finally happened, we all sat around and said how stupid we were and how dumb we were
and how much better it was.
How much
than we
better
thought
it was.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of just like realize that maybe the whole podcast is maybe we should just stop trying to predict things because we're just so bad at it.
I thought you were going to say the whole thing was like a dream, and you're going to wake up and Bobby Ewing's in your shower.
Who's Bobby?
He is way too young for that. That's a Dallas reference, folks.
That's all right, man.
Oh, I know.
That
I
wasn't
wouldn't
for him. It
I
was
wouldn't
for
have,
everybody else who's getting AARP magazines out here like you and I.
I know what Dallas is, but wouldn't have gotten the reference off top.
Of course not.
Yeah, when they shot JR, the question of who shot JR went around for a while. Then it turned out that it was all a dream.
Okay, so that is I did know that. If I had dug deep, I know who shot JR. Obviously, it's like one of the biggest things that ever happened in American pop culture. But I think it's somewhere in my brain I did realize that's how it ended. Yeah.
If nothing else, Family Guy referenced it in their Millennium episode.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That show that is somehow still on the air. But we're not a Family Guy podcast, thankfully, because I wouldn't be doing it.
No,
Let's
I
get
digress.
back to the wrestling.
Could you imagine what a Family Guy podcast would be like?
Nope.
It
makes me want to wash my hands even thinking about it.
Yeah, you.
Will Austin takes the victory over Tony Evans.
But during that match, we see yet again Cal Herro and Tony Gunn spill out into the ringside area.
I love when they do that.
For me, it's like Benny Hill.
Yes, no, it's Scooby Doo, it's Benny Hill.
Yeah, as soon as I see something recurring like that's over the top, I immediately start playing yakety sax in my head, and there's like an old guy that gets smacked around a little bit, and
I think everybody's got like their handful of favorite wrestling tropes. That wrestling, every match ending in or having your fight last all the way through the episode. Two guys fighting all the way through the episode, I guess is what I'm trying to say, the best way to say it. I love that. That's like one of my favorite go-to wrestling stipulations.
I guess in 21st century, it would be, going back to Family Guy, Peter Griffin versus the Chicken.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's
Peter Griffin versus
Which is
the
that
Chicken.
same millennial episode.
Exactly. It is.
You know Family Guy episodes well enough to know specific jokes from them?
I just know that chicken was in that millennium episode I've seen several times, yes.
I'm sorry.
Well, that was 25 years ago. It was a different time.
It was.
Yeah.
Way different time.
Before we move on from this bout, can I tell you what my hope for the pay-per-view is?
Sure.
Tony Evans, Will Austin, Jay De Niro, pay-per-view, 3-way match.
For anything involved?
We all hate each other.
Blood feud?
We all hate each other. I mean, there's no belt really around them.
I'm asking, is there...
Oh, is there a stip?
Well, no. Did you see a belt becoming a part of it by the time it was booked? And then also, is there a stip?
I don't think so. The belts, although who knows what's going to happen with the belts. There's not really a movement toward a belt match of any kind at this point.
Well, and we just don't know nothing. Like, with the Revolution, ever since they've become a part of this thing, everything's up on the table at any given point.
Yeah, you just don't know,
Absolutely. So why don't we move on?
I would say like a knockout match, because Jay De Niro would win it. He's got the glove.
That's true.
It's the loaded baked potato match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's wearing 2 loaded baked potato gloves.
No, Jay has the original one, and it's a race to see who gets to use it on someone else.
There are 6.
Maybe we put it on
and
a
one
poll.
of them is real. And we don't know who it is.
So they all come out like with the gloves on already?
No, there are 6 gloves total, and
you have to scramble to find the correct.
You have
glove.
to find the right one. I don't know.
I just want to see. I honestly think that if I was going to book that, Brian, to speak to your point, that would be the funnest thing for me. Is like these 3 sleazebags like racing to the bottom, trying to knock each other out with this one thing.
It sounds like it's going to be like an episode of Double Dare before the match.
But listen, we know this about Jay. He always brings 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. He brings a backup.
Mm-hmm. And that night, he might even bring 3.
Who knows? Let's get into this next sketch, shall we?
Sure.
Brian, you want to tell us about it?
Sorry, I'm so Wednesday brained to just like you do the announcing thing.
Oh,
yeah, it's weird doing an episode so close to the fan zone, because it's easier to differentiate between the two, having like a half a week between them. But this is the exception and not the rule. So the next thing we see is Katie and Hollywood. Katie's telling Hollywood about her new job, and you think Haley cares?
I don't think one iota. Is there a universe where Haley would give a shit?
She does not give a shit about your new job, dude. Sorry.
I will point at the sign.
That was just one.
That's your one.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's. I used it there because it's true. Haley, there's not a single part of her that would ever care what Katie Gannon, someone in the Revolution, literally anyone that's not Hollywood Haley J, has to say or thinks.
I could elaborate on that with some more expletives, but I'm not gonna. I think we got our point across.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing we see after Hollywood is having none of it is beaches and cream.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
doing beaches and cream things, let's be honest.
Yep.
We like them more these days, but they are still beaches and cream.
Yeah. And, I mean, I had to go home and take a bath after Saturday, but that's fine. I'm not upset about it at all. We'll post the pictures of that, and you'll see.
Yeah,
what
they
a good
didn't.
time we had.
They didn't let it go easy on y'all.
No.
Oh no, not at all.
We got the full. My OVW hat is actually I've got to take it and actually have it dry cleaned. It is not good.
You just put it in the top shelf of the dishwasher. It'll be all right.
I was wearing my Fan Zone shirt, and I haven't done laundry yet, so there's still caked on dairy product all over the front of my shirt. And when I got that shirt, I really wanted to wear it like all the time to events and stuff. But I feel like since that was the inaugural unofficial event, I just kind of want to like frame it and get everybody.
I was gonna say, I feel like this one's going in a frame.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that one needs to be framed, and all the OVW locker room and staff, maybe I can get them to sign it, and that'll just be something that hangs on my wall and motivates me to make the next one happen with your help and your help and your help and your help.
And
if
mostly,
you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
I love it.
I
love when you do radio stuff.
OVW Podcast.
Yeah,
it makes me so happy.
I'm not just handsome. Every once in a while, I have something to say.
No,
I'm kidding. None of that's true.
You're handsome.
You're handsome.
And you have things to say.
Depends on what
do it. There was literally a time on this podcast where we openly referred to you only as daddy.
Oh, you do.
Oh,
like
yeah.
young. There are young women that find you attractive.
I forgot about that.
I'll reference Vic. There are women your age that find you attractive. I think you gotta give yourself some more credit, buddy. I think you get there. I think there are times where you get flirted on so hard that you don't even register it.
There was literally a lady at Hot Point Davis Arena a few weeks ago who fell in your arms, sir,
and said, "It looks like I've fallen for you," and you just said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you okay?" I could show you the picture of who it was.
All right, then.
We're just saying.
You know who, like, you would recognize this person by name is what I'm saying.
Oh, well.
But let's not call people out like that.
No.
Nope.
Beaches and Cream try to flirt with Katie, and she's like, "Oh, well, come on into this room."
Like I said, they were doing Beaches and Cream things.
Yeah.
And they remember a very different version of Katie. Like, to kind of reinforce that point, they remember a very, very different version of Katie. And Beaches and Cream is still that same bold Beaches and Cream.
Yeah. Some things never change as far as that goes.
Yeah,
and I mean, Katie put it the best. You will respect me. That's the whole point of specifically Beaches and Cream getting beat up.
So, they got
that
beat
was
up,
a trap.
Yeah, drug out of that room, tossed in the ring.
Decimated.
Decimated, basically.
Yeah, they were dumped in the ring and attacked by the Revolution.
And it goes on for a minute as we cut to the end of the first hour.
Yep.
Second hour, there's more fighting because we're back to Tony Gunn, and Cal Herro squabbling about the backstage area.
Those two, I swear.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned that this is the theme of the night, and keeping that Tony and Cal Herro feud relevant and hot until they can figure out something that I assume will probably be on the scale as ambitious as the parking lot match was going to be, because those two guys deserve kind of another shot, and I know that I could imagine that they want one as well.
Well, okay. If I don't disagree with you, but that poses the question: the next pay-per-view, I would imagine, would be a Christmas one.
Mm-hmm.
What would their rematch be like, and how would it become part of a festive holiday program?
I don't know if it could become a festive holiday program. What I was thinking, though, is cage match, like one-on-one.
Christmas
or
cage match.
maybe that chains Carnage.
No.
Look, I
Maybe.
know, but I would love to see these two over the last people we saw try to do Chain Carnage.
Sure.
I feel like this would be a better match with them in it.
I think that whatever the match is, it has to like have an air of finality to it. And a chain carnage match in OVW kayfabe has an air of finality to it. But
It really does.
But I think that I guess maybe to put a bow on it, where the Revolution and heel turn for Tony started, and him in terms of him getting in Cal's head, was in a cage match, but it was with 10 people.
Right.
So maybe we end the year, if we began the program with that, maybe we end the program with one-on-one, nobody leaves. Like, we're solving
Till we
this.
settle this.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just kind of working that one out in real time.
No, well, we're not even done hearing from them tonight. But
No.
In the meantime, why don't we move on to our next bout?
Let's see. Well, I mean, in the middle of the beatdown of Beaches and Cream, we hear from Katie again.
Yeah, she's just telling them to beat him down.
Well, I mean, Linda Kay enters the fray.
Oh, wait, does that? Oh, yeah, I've
Who
ran
wrote,
past
who
that.
wrote
yeah.
these notes?
That would be me.
Hey! Right, that's awesome.
You got to always remember when Linda's in the ring.
Yes. So she was about to do to Linda what she did to Cristal earlier in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Throw J-Rod at her. When, who comes in? What happens there, gentlemen?
Freya comes in, makes the save. Obvious.
Freya comes to save the day.
Well, I mean, I think that we want to see, again, maybe even to compare it to Cal and Tony, keeping this thing hot, but keeping their hands off of each other in a in-ring, long-term way, because we want to see this one at the pay-per-view. Ever since J-Rod's come along, I think that the first match people wanted to see was Freya.
It was the first one this guy wanted to see.
And we've seen it live, and we've seen them tangled, tussle with each other, but like I'm talking about giving these two ladies a pay-per-view, slot is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
I think that honestly we're going to continue to see Freya in J-Rod's hair until we finally get the blow-off.
I hope so.
Me too.
Okay, so yeah, that was how the first hour ended. My apologies. I missed a paragraph in the notes.
All good, because hour 2, of course, starts with
More carnage.
Tony and Cal.
Yes.
Yes.
Squabbling, I think, is the word I put in the notes because I'm a dude from the mountains.
At least one time you put that word in here. So we can kind of move forward to bout 5. AJZ,
With Shannon the Dude.
of course,
Again.
versus hometown hero Dustin Jackson.
That's right. He looked great out there.
Dustin Jackson putting on a stretch of matches both on television, on pay-per-view, and live
At the Bourbon Brawl.
that are some of the best stuff that OVW has been offering recently.
Yeah, and this is the best we've ever seen him.
Yes, there's the sky's the limit. He's in that era of growth that seems to not have a cap on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the vertical arrow.
Right.
Just headed straight up.
Right.
You got to love it. And my favorite thing about this was the finish itself. When AJZ is in the middle of doing like a complicated spin maneuver, and Dustin's just like, no, I'm just going to put you on the ground and pin you.
That sounds about right. That's why Dustin Jackson is a dangerous man, ladies and gentlemen.
The Dustin Jackson character always knows when to find the right opportunity to get the match over as quickly as possible.
He certainly does.
For as much time as he likes to go up top and go out of the ring and drop kick and do all of that stuff, a very important element of the Dustin Jackson character recently is knowing when to capitalize on that moment And I think that's two weeks in a row that he's won with a small package.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looked like a big power slam was in store, and AJZ. I mean, it looked like he was winding up, and that's why he was doing the spin move. I mean, that's like the equivalent of like, revving your feet on the floor like you're a cartoon character so you can run faster. It's like you should have just power slammed him, but you poked around a little bit too long, and kind of bit you in the ass, kid.
The pinning predicament was almost exactly as the one with Donovan was.
Yeah,
from Dustin. Consistency. Love Dustin right now.
Absolutely.
Do we think that we're kind of done with AJZ in the tag team for right now?
Well, we're still not seeing Dalton McKenzie, so
right.
Something is up there. Either he's moved on to something else or he's injured.
I mean, I haven't heard anything, but let's see. Today's Tuesday. You're listening to this on Wednesday. I'm going to plan on going to that Spot Monkey show back home in Georgetown, Ohio on Friday. So as far as I know, he's supposed to be there. I'll see whether I can get a word with him, and maybe he can... Nah, I'm just kidding. He's in the Revolution. He's not going to do anything like that. He's going to give me a hard time, just like he did when we used to work together.
Absolutely.
He's a big dude to be giving people a hard time.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, I would have to say that now that the tag team belts have moved on to a different member of the Revolution, that we're probably going to see a lot of AJZ as a singles guy, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there isn't.
Is it weird to either of you that there's a faction, that faction holds the tag team belts? However, the tag team that holds that belt is not named for the faction.
I actually like that. Like, I actually really like the Revolution here at the Blockbusters.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, I'm sure it's not, for me at least, I'm sure it's gone back way, way, way further than that. But for me, it's like the Japanese like house system, like the different dojos, and like, oh, you may be a singles competitor, but you're always aligned with these guys.
Right.
I think that feels really big sportsy. I think that's and I love that presentation a lot more than everyone just kind of becoming nameless and faceless inside of a wide-ranging faction. They always keep their association, but they're allowed to live and breathe as singles acts, or in this case, a tag team act.
Well, it's interesting because whenever Tony's on Overdrive, Tony Gunn, he uses his own music rather than the Revolution. That's twice I've seen it happen.
Well, I mean, look at like House of Black in AEW right now. They must have 8 themes depending on which version of the team is competing, and et cetera, et cetera. So I love that presentation. I think it makes it feel really cool and really unique.
One thing about the Revolution, in a lot of ways, the way they are sort of constructed and led, it feels like they're built for long term.
Yes.
This does, like NWO, which is what I always take it back to and compare them to.
There's no reason not to.
And that always felt like they were burning bridges. They were going to put themselves in a position where they couldn't coexist at all. Mm-hmm. Which is just what happened, and what happened all those years ago.
It happened in kayfabe and in real life.
Yes, but like the Revolution doesn't interfere with other members' matches really. You don't really, not since the earliest days of them actually taking a name have we seen that. Mm-hmm. And they I don't know, it's a well-run faction. You have to give them the respect.
I think what you're kind of picking up there is also the same reasons why the Revolution has a lot more fan support than all of the other factions that we've seen in our time covering OVW. And I think that what you've really got your finger down on there is it feels different, and that's why people are responding differently to it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as my take on the Revolution, this is, my personal thing, and maybe you agree and maybe you don't. Growing up, one of my favorite cartoons was Super Friends.
Yeah,
sure.
To me, the Revolution's very similar to the Legion of Doom. You've got all of these DC Comics villains who are going to work together collectively to take out all of their superhero nemesis.
And
That.
we've always said that the Revolution is like equally parts dastardly and kind of like that era of super genius, evil, mustache twirling, villain.
Yeah.
And
much.
I think that kind of acknowledgement to not be so self-serious like some of these other factions have been, I think that all of that is why we get more fan response than we have ever before. And not just like fan response like, oh, I like the bad guys. No, I like the Revolution. There's always going to be a group of wrestling fans who are just there to root for the bad guys, and that's fine. That's not what the Revolution support is.
They kind of started a movement in the OVW fans.
And I think that it's just at the end of the day a breath of fresh air for people that watch OVW to have a faction that EC3 is not a part of, and that's also probably one of the reasons why we're getting EC3 babyface vibes right now is because people are just happy to see him do something different.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And it occurs, you mentioned the whole Legion of Doom, and I think almost more importantly in that metaphor is the OVW locker room does not feel unified without the Revolution.
No.
Wow, that is an incredible point.
There is no, they aren't the Super Friends.
No.
There's no reason, Beaches and Cream, they don't like people back there for the most part. They're heels. They are heelish, at least they were. But, even
until Luscious put in,
yeah,
some work, and Omar put in some work to turn that team babyface.
Yeah.
Well, that and that stash that Lawrence is rocking these
days
is
babyface
pretty
stash.
solid.
That's a babyface stash.
But yeah,
Keep
the point is, and we'll see it later in this very episode. The threat of the Revolution has unified this locker room into a team in a way that I find refreshing, and it does let them have that Legion of Doom vibe because they have Super Friends to face.
Right.
Exactly.
No, I actually think that you made a very salient point there by saying that without the Revolution, OVW has no reason to defend the locker room. They are the island of misfit toys without the threat of the Revolution.
Yeah. They're just several dozen independent people all out for themselves. The Revolution unifies them into something.
Resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the simplest way to put it. They've unified them into resistance, which is what happens in real life.
All right,
quite a bit actually.
Let's get back to it. We're burning an hour here, so.
Eric Surge versus Adam Revolver. Shannon the Dude goes to commentary.
As unusual as we, thought some of the other things were, one of the most unusual things I didn't have on my 2024 OVW podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling bingo card, was Adam Revolver being a face and me being all in for it.
I am here too for Adam Revolver being the face.
You completely forgot to do the thumb until just now.
You know what I'm also into?
The thumb jogged my memory.
Is after seeing these two gentlemen dressed together in the ring, an Adam Revolver Eric Surge tag team. I don't think that they meant to go out looking like a tag team, but seeing the two of them together, I know that they're against each other right now, they're adversaries, but
they were both wearing purple and gold.
But in the future, I think that could be a really fun tag team.
See,
big guy, small guy tag team. I love it.
He much different these days.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see this on camera, but I used to draw him as very angry because nobody liked Adam Revolver. But I know one guy who does, and he's got two thumbs, and one of them looks like Adam Revolver right now, and that would be me.
Shannon the Dude's working on an ass whipping. Has been for a while.
Yeah.
Adam Revolver, as the match ends, Adam Revolver, it's obvious, cannot wait to get over and get his hands around Shannon the Dude.
Adam does get the win, even though I didn't actually mark that in your notes for you.
Adam, because he is the smarter wrestler. He is the more experienced person. One of the most
very clean, pure wrestler.
Right.
No cheating.
One as commentary, I think, did a great job of putting over recently. One of the most decorated people in the history of Ohio Valley Wrestling. Period. So, I think Adam Revolver, the face, is. I think this is a good thing.
I'm here for it. Yeah,
I think this is a good thing, and I think that him finally getting his hands on Shannon whenever that happens.
So satisfying.
And him dog walking Shannon around the ring is going to be really satisfying to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Shannon is the only heel there that could make Adam Revolver babyface. But it doesn't happen tonight because Battleborn is it Aaron Fox? Battleborn
Fox.
Aaron Leo Fox. I'm sorry, I'll get it right one time, eventually.
Stops that.
Battleborn Leo Fox comes out to defend Shannon the Dude, allows Shannon to get away from Adam. So we'll have to wait at least another. Well, I guess maybe just 1 week, maybe several weeks to see if Adam ever gets his hands
I cannot
on Shannon.
wait for that. In addition to wanting more subscribers to our YouTube channel, I would really like to see Adam Revolver get his hands on Shannon the Dude and give that man the beatdown that he's been earning, and just smack that smirk off his face. And
to quote a play I was in high school, the Three Bully Groats Griff. This is your comeuppance, more like a go down I'd say.
So if we
and
do
yes,
get that,
it really was Bully Goats Griff, not Billy Goats Gruff, because it was an anti-bullying.
I see.
Yeah. Trip trap.
Yeah.
So if we hit when we hit that 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@OVWPodcast,
Like Jamin said, speaking into existence, baby.
How do you guys feel about making Doug Basham's match with Shannon the Dude? Like, I know in theory we want someone who's going to beat the crap out of Doug, but I don't know. I might like to see Doug beat the crap out of Shannon the Dude.
Okay, there is no if.
That's why I said when.
Let's cut that crap out right now. There is no if we do this. We're going to hit 1,000 by Christmas. That's going to happen. No two ways about it. I am going to give some serious thought into who I would want because, Genie's grant 3 wishes.
The proposition's too good to not fully consider every single option, tail of the tape style.
It's like you're little and it's your birthday and you get to pick where you eat. You really have to focus in okay.
Because you only get one shot.
You get one shot.
You only get one shot. I see exactly what you're
opportunity.
saying. One opportunity.
So we'll have to give that some serious thought because I could talk about who I think and why I think that for quite a long time, but I digress. We're already 60 minutes
Once
in.
we get there, we will decide on a podcast.
Yes.
We will
We'll probably have a whole episode talking about it.
Yes, a whole special episode talking about it.
So let's get
when
into
we
our
hit
main
1,000.
event.
Let's do
Okay.
it. Oh yeah, see, we both were like Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Well, it's 7:30 on Wednesday.
I was just going to say that I have a newfound respect for Leo Fox now because he can quote Fletch. I saw in a social media post where he said something, and it's like, I know where that is. So yeah,
Wow.
Shut it.
No, I wasn't trying to.
I did
Fletch
not
is
see
just
him being into Fletch.
It's a deep cut. That's all I'm saying. I haven't thought about Fletch in about 20 years.
Well,
Fletch is good.
that's
Fletch
the
is
difference
good.
between
Classic.
you and I.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The main event of the evening was Jack Vaughn versus Mount Kadeem.
I was looking forward to this one.
Very much me too.
Yeah.
We are big Jack Vaughn guys, and Mount Kadeem is a big guy. We talked a lot, I think, last week about why Jack, especially at this point in Mount Kadeem's tenure in OVW, is a great matchup for him. He's a former heavyweight champion. He's the veteran. He knows how to take guys that maybe are still in the process of learning and cover up that inconsistency, right?
Well, not only that, but one of the more beautiful things that I liked about this match, and it didn't occur to me right off the bat, but actually going back and looking at it now while we're talking about this are just like the little subtle things. So in this match, most people are rooting for the veteran Jack Vaughn.
Yes.
I would say 9 out of 10 people at Davis Arena. I mean, minus the Revolution crowd, because there is no talking to those people sometimes.
No, I really do think that Jack Vaughn does hold a special place in a lot of people's hearts, even Revolution-tending people.
Well, you're absolutely right. But in this particular match, he would be the face. Would you agree?
100%.
But he's still wrestling like a heel. He can't. He goes into the ropes, tries to shoulder tackle Mount Kadeem several times. Nothing. Mount Kadeem, solid as they come.
Mm-hmm.
So what's he do? Pokes him right in the eye.
Had to.
Yeah.
So
Love it. Veteran move.
That is the kind of the genius of the veteran gimmick is you can just still cheat and win.
Yeah.
But also
And still be over.
But also, Jack, the shoulder tackles aren't working. You got to do something.
Yeah. And that would be one of my
Because
go-tos, too.
most of the time, a shoulder tackle from Jack Vaughn will take you down. It doesn't work on Mount Kadeem.
A lot of times a shoulder tackle from Jack Vaughn will knock you in the next week.
That's true. That's true.
Not Mount Kadeem, though.
But, and Mount Kadeem, Jack is a tall guy, so, like, he can stack up to Mount Kadeem, right? You're not really telling the story of small guy versus giant with this one. But having said that, Jack still, was doing stuff that I haven't seen Jack do from a selling perspective, because he really doesn't have to sell like this for most people.
Well, yeah, there's that. Mount Kadeem ain't most people.
No, Mount Kadeem's knocking his ass into the barrier, all of this stuff. I think that the ending of the match was the right one, the no contest, because I didn't want to see. I don't think Jack should have lost this match.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't think it should have been a clean loss to Jack.
No.
And I think that the kind of the story that they've been telling all night with Tony and Cal, the fix was already in. We knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, in the middle of this match, as we're talking about it, knowing what's going to happen next, the yakety sax is already lightly playing in my head, and here they come. It turns up a little bit higher, and then everybody's running around the ring, and that's...
So this is this last 5 minutes of this episode is some incredible escalation. Just up and up and up and up and up and black.
Well, and really, as we move toward everyone kind of the chaos of the very ending of the match, or the very ending of the show, having one of the last things that people think of as Katie there standing over everyone, being in control of everyone, and saying, I devised this.
Yeah. Or really, that was not the vibe I got, because by the end,
it's kind of the vibe I got.
We literally empty the locker room. It's
right.
It's everybody versus the Revolution. They even name drop Cowpoke Paul.
Yeah. Did you catch that?
I did.
I was excited.
That was actually if you only go back and watch one thing from this week's episode, watch whenever they reference Cowpoke Paul.
Yeah.
watch Cowpoke Paul.
As soon as I heard that, my inner child was all rootin' tootin' with the finger guns and all that, because that guy's going places.
We might have to do another special episode of maybe our like gimmick draft of just the guys that we just like fell in love with because of the gimmick at first, and then like eventually we're like, no, actually this guy slaps.
We've got a couple of ideas.
I almost said something that wasn't PG-13 there.
Yeah, we can't be having that.
Yeah, too late in the show for that.
Just out of curiosity, can we bleep? Do we have that capability? Like, if I let you know beforehand, hey, I am pissed and F-bombs are coming, and I go, Malachi, my camera, I got something to get off my chest, can I just go on a tirade and be like, bleep you, bleep you, bleep you, you're cool, bleep you, I'm out?
Like from the end of that's from Face Off, right?
We'll finish that off camera. I'm just curious, yes or no?
It would not be easy, no.
And
we
Malachi
could possibly do it.
Malachi said medium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we work on that? Not that I'm saying I would. I'm just
not even for this episode. Not even, just in theory.
Just in theory. Everybody has those days
where you don't want to wake up.
One of these times, I'm sure somebody here is probably just going to be like, you know what? Just flips table and just goes off. So,
might happen.
I was just curious whether we could.
Surprised it hasn't happened earlier.
Yeah.
That's true.
See, I think this was Katie having completely lost control of things.
I kind of take the opposite. I think that Katie is an instrument of chaos, and that this was the plan.
This was controlled chaos.
Yes.
So I guess you agree with Jackman there, Brian, that this was the plan?
Yeah, I believe this was definitely by design.
Well, I guess we'll see on Thursday whether or not Doug was happy with the results or not.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find out sooner or later.
I could only imagine, based on Katie in this new role, that this might have been actually what the Revolution needed, is a mouthpiece that wasn't in black.
That's true.
Or Shannon the Dude.
Or, just, I'm anti-authoritarian, I'm mean just because I'm mean. No, she has a job. She got hired for a job. She's doing her job.
Yeah, she's just middle management.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So all in all, what do we think of this episode?
No, I really do love it when we just have things in wrestling because that's what we get paid to do.
Yeah.
You know, like I just think like sometimes that's the most obvious thing is like sometimes, oh, why are these guys having a match? Oh, because they get paid to do it.
Yeah. That was how it appeared on the papers.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people talking about this, like they didn't really care for a lot of it. They didn't like that Katie was in there, and they, for whatever reason, it's like I thought it was springerific.
I think that this might be, if you're a true Revolution person, you might be scratching your head right now and saying, I don't see where this quite fits in right now. If you're just observing it, you know, I'm neither really a Revolution person or, you know, an OVW person. I try to observe it just in terms of what I see on the screen.
Yeah.
And I think that it's really, really good and really, really smart. But I could see that if you're emotionally invested in the Revolution, that you are turned off by the idea of a mouthpiece that's not all in black, because that's kind of what you are used to so far.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But all in all, I really enjoyed this episode.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
I did too.
I thought it
Great
was
way
a
to
lot
kick
of
off
fun.
the new cycle because, you know, we're just coming off the pay-per-view, so this is the first week of the new cycle building to the next pay-per-view, and I thought this was a great way to kick things off.
It most certainly was. I enjoyed it.
All right. Well, I don't
A lot
think
of rewatch value, too, to be
Yeah.
honest. A lot
So
of
go
rewatch
watch it.
value.
Yes,
and then
you should.
subscribe. And while you're watching it on YouTube, click over and subscribe to our podcast.
Open a different window so that the video keeps playing, but
Yes.
then you can see some stuff to watch after Rise goes off and Overdrive go off. You can watch some of our programs.
Yeah, that's youtube.com/@OVW podcast.
And as a matter of fact, if you're listening to this Wednesday morning, you'll be able to see us Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock on OVW's YouTube channel with the Fan Zone, where fans talk back.
And just the fans. We will be sitting down with Katie Gann, or no, I'm sorry, Rebecca
No.
Katie. Rebecca Katie,
We're going to be focusing on the OVW Academy this week.
It just kind of, because she goes, Katie and Katie, it just threw me off. No, we're going to be talking about the Academy this week.
Yeah, we sure
with,
are. I'm excited.
She's the Academy lady. She kind of knows all the ins and outs of the Academy, and I think she's going to be bringing along Cornbread, who knows a lot of the ins and outs of the Academy, and a couple of potential OVW superstars. So
Yeah.
it should be a fun night tomorrow night on the OVW Fan Zone Live. Are we going to do a post roll here?
Nah, let's just go out.
Let's go out.
Yeah.
Go
All right.
Great
Cats.
show, guys.
Go
Have a good
Cats.
night. Go Cats.
We still don't know what's going to happen.